What's going on, guys? Your boy Brap Genius, and today we're going to be putting the GT500 spoiler on my 2013 Mustang GT. So we got it right here. I'm going to go over everything you guys need to do for this to go through it. You guys are lucky for this one because mine came with a spoiler delete option for whatever reason. So I'm going to have to do some drilling for this, so you will get the full experience for this video. So let's get into it. Alright, so first thing first, it says you need to take out these tabs and get this piece off. You simply just pop these off. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll come back once we get that step done. Alright guys, so we got the back piece off of this. Now, if you guys do have the factory spoiler in here, you would have holes here. At this point, you would have to take it off. There would be bolts, 4 bolts all around in this area, and what you would have to do is take the bolts out with a 10mm socket. It looks like this actually did have the factory spoiler at some point. For whatever reason, the previous owner didn't want it, so he had the bolts taken out and covered professionally, I guess. But I want the spoiler, so now I'm going to have to re-drill and set it up myself. So if you guys are doing that, you would take the bolts out, and then you would go and start to pull it off, and then with a heat gun you would heat up the adhesive from the spoiler itself to get it off easier for you guys. Take it off, peel it off, wipe it down to where it is now, and then we go from there. Now at this point, I can start to clean the surface of this and prep it for the spoiler for the adhesive before I put the bolts on itself. So that is what I'm going to do now. That's what we're going to show you guys. So in this kit, they gave us 4 alcohol prep pads. I'm going to use that across the board. I'm going to use all of them, clean it up as best as I can before I start to do my drilling. I'll use 2 before and 2 after I do the drilling. Alright, so now this one is prepped. Now we can get to the next step. I'm going to line up the spoiler, and I'm going to figure out where I need to drill. Got some white paint here. I'm going to lightly spray over the tips of the screws. Line up the screws over where the spoiler itself is going to go on the car, and then those marks will mark where I need to drill. So I'm going to do that right now. Alright, so I sprayed the tips. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the spoiler around and set it up where it's going to be put down on the car. So the way I want to do this is I want to see where it's going to go. Here, I'm not going to touch the screws onto the car yet. I'm going to have it lined up perfectly across, and I'm going to push it against the car itself from the bottom of this, and I'm going to let it slowly sit down on top once I feel content with where it is. So that is where I want the spoiler to sit in general. The trunk is partially open right now. So this will be my markings. I want to make sure it lines up perfectly. Look at both sides. See how it lines up. I am content with the way that is set. So I'm going to push down. And now hopefully when I pull up, there'll be some marks there. Alright, so now you can see everything is lined up. I can see now where the holes are going to be. So now I can do the fun part, which is the drilling, and we'll see how that goes. Alright guys, time for the fun part. So basically with the bit you're going to use, you want to make sure it's bigger than the bolt itself. Obviously it's not going to fit through the hole if it is not bigger. So this is a little bit bigger than the bolt itself. That should be perfect. It will still have a tight fit. You know what I mean? You don't want it to be too loose, but it should be just enough for it to go through. So I'm going to go through the middle of these holes. It worked the way I was hoping to. We'll see how well it worked once I drill through. I'm going to close the trunk now and go through the middle and see how this works. Alright, now where did I put that rag? There it is. Oh yeah. Alright, so now we're just going to gently just wipe off all of the crap that we just got on here. This is why I wanted to save the 2 prep pads for after I did this, because obviously, you know, you want this to be clean when you put it on. You don't want all this dust. This car is going to need a good wash once the adhesive for the spoiler is adjusted. This car is disgusting. I need to wash it. So that will be my biggest priority once I get this thing on here, and once the adhesive is done drying. It takes some time, but we'll take it from there. So now the next step is I'm going to open the trunk and put the bolts through to make sure that they all fit through, and then I can start to test the spoiler to make sure that the holes were aligned right and take it from there. So let's do that now. I'm going to put the bolts through with the washers that were supplied. So guys, I line up the spoiler from the other side. You're not going to want to pull the trunk down. You're going to want to make sure that these screws are not going to fall against you. So have a partner, which I have mine here, my beautiful girlfriend, the Brap Queen. She held it up from the other side, and I aligned the screws to make sure they fit and that the process went well, which it did. So before I take off the adhesive, I wanted to make sure that the bolts all lined up. So now the plan is we're going to take the bolts out. She's going to hold the spoiler again, and then I'm going to take off the adhesive. I'll show you guys with that. Re-prep the trunk, and then we're going to put the bolts on, tighten down the spoiler, and have it all set up. So that's the next step. All right, so before we put the spoiler back on officially, I'm going to go over this again with the alcohol prep pads to prepare the adhesive. Make sure that it's going to be all set to go. So I'm going to go around the entirety of the trunk with the prep pad. I'm going to do it twice to make sure that everything is okay and all set. And then we're good to go. I'm going to peel off the adhesive here, go around the entirety of it, peel it off. Now, like I said, we're going to put these bolts back in place and then screw them on from the outside. So, obviously you want to be very cautious when you're doing this. You don't want to lose these bolts in the trunk because that would be extremely annoying trying to get them out. So we're going to be very careful with how we proceed here. I have my girlfriend to help me, and we will take it from here. Nice and slow. It's not a race. Alright. Grab it from that side. Alright, so now I'm going to grab my screwdriver. Alright, so I'm going to start with this one right here. Line that first. Not, yep. So I'm going to do the outside ones first. I'm not going to screw it in all the way. You know, just hand tighten to as close as you can get it. Is that a line? Nice job, thank you. Alright, so those two are aligned. Those two are on. Now I need to align these last two, which I'm going to pull them out and see where the holes are. Can you try and push that up a little bit? Nice. Okay. Now that one's in there. Now I just have to get this last one lined up, and then we'll be all set. One is on a little bit of an angle going down. Yeah, push that up. Beautiful. Alright, so right there should be it. Which it is. So now what I can start to do is tighten from the outside. I'll get my little helper. Nice job, nice and tight. Until you feel it. Once it starts to get tight, let off, because you don't want to over tighten. You want to strip. Awesome. Alright, I'll get back to this side. Now I'm just going to tighten from the outside to the inside. Alright. Nice and snug. Alright, so now put it down, check it out. I'm gonna have to wash that. They're very snug. We're gonna push down. Once these are fully screwed in, we're gonna push down on the adhesive itself. Super tight. So that's it, guys. Now you're just gonna want to put these back on, and that's the final step. And then I'll show you what it looks like once it's done. Alright, so that's back on, and boom. GT500 spoiler is installed. push over the adhesive one more time just to make sure that it is on there, which it should be in general because of the screws. I'm just gonna make sure. Alright. And that's it, guys. That's how to install a GT500 spoiler on your Mustang, either GT or V6, with the S197, the 2013, 2014. So thanks for watching this video, guys. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you haven't joined the Brap gang already, join, because we're going to be doing more stuff to this car. This is the Braps thing. So thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day. As always, peace.